Hello everyone, I'm here with today's video, which is, what if Batman was in Green Lantern, the animated series? For the sake of continuity, I was debating either make this the same one from Beware the Batman, or just make it a new version of the character whatsoever, with no ties to Beware the Batman whatsoever. In the end, you all voted for Beware the Batman. Likely because both shows were CGI and what else? Oh, yeah. Both only had one season with 26 episodes, and we're going to have more seasons, but they were both canceled. So I'm going to go with Beware the Batman. Now, basically, Hal and the gang at some point would go to Gotham City. Not too sure when, but I was thinking it was probably because of the fact that Ao would have ended up in Gotham, but I threw that out because that was too similar to my Superman video. So I'm going to have this be a different reason. It's probably because they would have gotten into a fight with the Red Lanterns at one point, and Hal and the gang would have ended up in Gotham, where they would meet Batman and Alfred. Maybe even Katana. But I'm going to take some elements from a new version that you all were voting for. And of course, that would be Dick Grayson, who would be Robin at this point in time. This would probably be after the series finale of Beware the Batman. So the Outsiders could still form, or may have been disbanded. I'm probably going to do a rewrite of Beware the Batman one day. I don't know. I say I might because I had some issues with that show. I don't think Beware the Batman is a terrible show. Let me make that clear, but that's just me. Now, who would play Dick is the question. I guess someone like Jack Dylan Grazer or Freddie Highmore could have played Dick. But since I would want the Teen Titans to appear, I could have possibly seen Matthew Mercer, but I think he would better fit him as Nightwing. Now, Batgirl may have also came into the picture. Like she would have gotten her suit at this point in time. But in terms of Katana, she wouldn't really do a lot. She doesn't do a lot, but she's kind of like they're helping the gang. Now, by this point, Anarchy would have faced a threat in the form of Penguin, who I could have seen being played by Mike Pollock had Beware the Batman continued. Now, if any of you guys don't know who Mike Pollock is, he is the actor who played Eggman in Sonic the Hedgehog. And I think he would have been the perfect choice for Penguin in a Batman show. Now, Penguin's henchman would be Electrocutioner, who I could see being played by, I'd say someone like Travis Willingham, Scarecrow Robert Englund, who had played in Injustice 2, as well as the last one was tricky, but I'm going to say Magpie, because there's someone in its way. That, of course, would have been Catwoman, who I could have seen being played with Sumali Montano. In a perfect world, I would have had her replace Katana in the show, or maybe both of them would have appeared, just each character taking a place. And because Anarchy sees this as a threat, he decides to get help from someone named Floyd Lawton, aka, you all guessed it, Deadshot. Now, who would have played Deadshot? I don't know. Maybe someone like Robert Downey Jr. or Matthew Mercer or... I don't know, honestly. I guess RDJ could work. Or maybe Johnny Depp. I don't know. I guess either one would have worked. But now how would Lon get into Anarchy's possession? Simple. I'm going to say he started off as a criminal. Like, maybe as a former Black Ops unit who lost his job in the military. Or was a former police officer or something like that. And, of course, his daughter, Zoe, is sick. Zoe is sick. How is she sick, you may ask? She's kind of like dying like Sandman's daughter in Spider-Man 3. Maybe it's not cancer, but it's something like an illness. I think it is cancer. I could be wrong, I don't know. And his wife had divorced him. And so, Lon and Anarchy decided to team up alongside the way they would meet Atrocitus and some Red Lanterns. Another reason why Lon and Anarchy team up is because Deathstroke is working for Penguin. And speaking of Penguin, he would end up meeting Larfleeze. Now, Anarchy would have somehow at some point find out about who Green Lantern is, like his identity. And soon enough, he sends Lawton and Atrocitus to kidnap Carol. However, this time it be Lawton. Because I initially considered ditching that kidnapping storyline entirely because I felt like it was similar to my Martian Manhunter video, but it just had to be there. However, unlike the last time, Carol would have managed to escape. Because at this point, she would still have the Pink Lantern reign. And at this point, Hal could have gotten the news and find out if Carol's still okay, and it turns out she is okay. And of course, Hal would fight Deadshot, but considering they were fun in the comics, Hal doesn't really win. And so he has to let Batman stop Deadshot. And then it turns out Atrocitus is working with Anarchy. Well, Deadshot could have told Batman the information. And of course, it turns out Zoe is kidnapped. And maybe Miss Lawton too. Which kind of forces Deadshot to team up with them, honestly. But Deathstroke could have also been involved with the kidnapping. Now, before they would have faced Deathstroke, they would have faced Killer Croc and someone like KG Beast, who I could see being played by Troy Baker. And of course, during the final battle, it's a war. Anarchy kidnaps Penguin and is about to kill him, but then Batman and Anarchy fight, and Dick's Robin, Katana, Catwoman, and Batgirl stop the other villains. While Hal, Carol, Razor, Aya, and Kilowog deal with the Red Lanterns and Larfleeze. At some point, Catwoman and Magpie would fight each other because I think had Catwoman appear in Beware the Batman, Magpie may have been her arch enemy. However, during the final battle, Batman punches Anarchy into a vast of chemicals, and Anarchy is assumed to have died. And Bruce kind of blames himself for it. But in the end, he's reassured that Batman didn't mean to kill Anarchy. Or so it seems. In the end, Deadshot manages to save his daughter from death, from cancer, but his ex-wife still not on good terms. At the end, Batman and would say his goodbyes to Hal and the gang. Same thing with Batman's gang. However, there would be a cliffhanger where it's revealed that Anarchy was not killed, but instead he was transformed into the Joker. Yes, you heard me right. The Joker. So that's what if Batman was in Green Lantern, the animated series. Now, I know some of you may be thinking why I include some of the villains I mentioned when they were not in Beware the Batman. This might have happened after the series finale of Beware the Batman, like I said. And a lot of you may be asking me, was I inspired by fan theories that had Beware the Batman continued, Anarchy would have become the Joker? You know what? You're kind of right. I was kind of inspired by those theories. Because Anarchy in that show was more like the Joker than Anarchy himself. But I think by the time Anarchy would have become the Joker, they would recast Anarchy. Possibly, I don't know. But if they were, I could picture someone like Willem Dafoe or even Michael Brandon, the narrator of Thomas and Friends, as the Joker had he appear in Beware the Batman. And Joker was actually going to be in that show. He was going to be in Beware the Batman, but obviously that never happened. Now, at one point, Harley Quinn was going to appear, but then I thought, nah. Because I'm not too sure how Harley Quinn would have became a villain first, then Joker. / Anarchy, or the other way around. I wasn't too sure how that was going to happen. But now the question is, who will be the character in November? I'm still trying to go for 7 members like in the comics, but how the Justice League form varies. I'm debating it either being Aquaman or Green Arrow. Like, I might go for Green Arrow because when I was going into Aquaman's video, I was wanting certain elements to be rewritten because they were similar to my upcoming Wonder Woman video. And I'm like, nah, Aquaman and Wonder Woman can't be similar. So I might go with Green Arrow instead of, Aquaman. But there's a chance I could do both, but then I'm expanding it to 8. I don't know yet. If you have any ideas on what I should do, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, I will see you all later.